And I just joined a trivia game next door at Auburn Barbecue, and I won! Anyway, we're very blessed to have this city. I'm sure some of you may be, I don't know, hating it or something. This place is sick. I love it here.
It's beautiful. I was scootering around. We don't have those scooters in Toronto.
They're illegal where we're from.
They're illegal.
They call them garbage.
But I went scootering everywhere, and it was great. Like I had the greatest day, just like looking at your beautiful city.
What did we miss? What should we have done? I went to the Martin Luther King Aquatic Center.
I heard that the Coca-Cola Museum, which we missed, that you can try Coke from all over the world. Whatever that means.
Is that worth it or no? It is worth it? No, not worth it. Let's take a poll. I had the craziest experience. So, like, before I came here, well, you'll know when I was here because it's related to when the movie's playing, okay? So I walked into the theater for a second because I had to go to the bathroom, and I hadn't been in here yet. And a guy walks out of the theater, and from this theater we start chatting for a second. I can kind of hear what's going on, and we were talking. He's a guy wearing a blue shirt. You're in here right now, right? Okay. So this is what happens. We're out there talking for like maybe 3-4 minutes. Then I hear Jay shoot the guy in the RV, and everybody in here laughs. And he goes, "Whoa, what was that?" And I was like, "You just missed a crazy moment. Jay just shot a guy in the head." And he went, "You're right." It's a testament to how the movie works. The way it works on Jay and I as well. We watch it and we're like, yeah, what is going to happen next?
When we wrote that, like, we couldn't wait to shoot it because we couldn't believe that we actually had this in the treatment of the movie.
And it would be justified.
We've never done anything like this before, even in the show or the web series. We're like, I can't believe I'm going to shoot somebody right in the fucking face. Insane.
Well,
oh, and it's got to be so violent too. Oh yeah, it's got to be so realistic. Yeah, we'll get practical effects and blood and everything. Oh yeah.
So, to be fair, Jay hasn't seen The Dirties, so it was very new.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a joke. It wasn't even close to as violent. And the goal was, and we talked about this before, but that band that is Jay's band is a real Canadian band called the Born Ruffians. And they've been dear friends of ours since we just started there. They have a whole episode of the web series, which is why they used to be my band way back when we did a flopped episode of the web series, so we thought it'd be so fun for them to be Jay's band in the future. And we were trying to figure out, okay, so who should get shot in the head? And I was with the band, and immediately it was like, Luke is so good looking. It really needs to be Luke. And I don't know if it was you or Jared who was like, and we need to shoot him in the face.
You guys have your own sexual reasons for that.
I didn't suggest shooting Luke or shooting him in the face. So maybe it was simply Jared.
He's very good looking.
He's very handsome. Yeah. Hey, have you guys ever been to Copenhagen before? Anybody here? Yeah, the men there are unbelievably handsome. Unbelievably so. And the women are so casual, they don't care. It's like, in some ways, the opposite of what I thought it would be. The men are like supermodels. They're wearing makeup, their hair's all done. If you want to see good-looking men, is the point of the story, get on a plane and go to Copenhagen. I want to talk a bit more about that. This is the first time we've done a Q&A with chairs, and you can tell it's really changing our behavior. We're acting like we're on a talk show.
Let's really get into that. Why did you say so much about good-looking men?
I think culturally they don't get talked about enough. One, the halo effect is real. These guys get treated like princes. It's ridiculous. We need to stop that.
I think you've lately been looking like a good-looking man with the buff and the glasses.
I learned this from shut up. I made a film with my friend Kazakh where I was like, all I can do is be myself. Like, I don't know how you want me to characterize this. And he's like, yeah, it's okay. You know what? It's gonna be you, but I'll make you wear glasses. And it made a huge character difference. All of a sudden I came off like an intellectual, which is great.
It worked a lot better than because for a while, before and as we were shooting Blackberry, you had that headband look for a while, right?
With the big, are you talking about on camera or off camera?
Off camera.
Yeah.
Off camera before Blackberry, you were rocking that headband.
Which I had to stop,
This
because
is why I'm bringing
I
this
was at it was Halloween in 2023. I walk into a bar in Toronto called Get Well, which is a place I really love. They have video game machines. And a bunch of college students stop me and go, "Oh my God, that costume is amazing." I'm not dressed up. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they said, "You are dressed up like the guy from Blackberry." And I realized at that moment I had sabotaged my own life. Where now everywhere I went, just dressed the way that I do, people think that I am trying to signal, "Hey, I'm the Blackberry guy, look at me."
We were at dinner and I heard the waitress say, she was just like, "Oh, that's so nice. You actually dress like your character." Just killing that, so the headband era was done.
Well, this is when resonant filmmaking goes wrong, because what we've been trying to do, Dirty's a perfect example of this, is like really bloom where you're planted. Like, who are you? Whoever you are interesting at some level if you can find a way to make a movie about specifically that. And so that's what I've been doing my whole life.
That was Nirvana the band.
To a T, everything is just that, except and variations on that theme. And then when people started watching these stupid movies, I wound up looking like I was imitating my own work in real life, which made me look like the exact opposite of the way that I wanted to. Which is also funny, you and I both get this when we're walking around in Toronto shooting the show. So shooting this movie, so we're dressed ridiculously. Well, we're dressed exactly like that. And people who recognize us from the show, it's insane how they will come up and stop us and talk to us. They don't see the camera yet, and they're like, "Wow, hey, you guys dress like this in real life?" Although the other night you said that
I clarified, yeah.
Yeah, you used to.
That's my 2006 look, and that's what defined the costume, because that's just what I wore, just that year.
We're going to try, by the way, to do this entire thing without answering a single question.
There's Q&A, there's no cues.
We're going to ask each other questions. No, we will take questions, because it seems like this was a good screening. Normally there's only like 6-7 people at these.
That's not true.
Who does have questions? And we'll tell you anything, except one thing, we'll give a caveat. We will not tell you anything about how we did at the CN Tower, because it's the only thing we don't have legally sewn up. And we don't want to provide material for their lawyers to take us down. Once the movie is released, we'll tell everybody what we did. Suffice it to say, they had no idea. And it was without a doubt the hardest thing we've ever shot, ever. It was a crazy level of coordination at every possible level of production. Like, it was crazy. I hope that we never have to do anything like that ever again. It was horrible.
We can say about the CN Tower, because we've said this before, is that
It's a national treasure.
it is a national treasure, and we do respect it a lot. But when we went in through security, and we had the parachutes stuffed in our blazers, and Matt was caught with his snippers, that we had totally prepared for us to get thrown out in that scene, and we were ready. We figured, and this is normally an idea in like how we write the reality portions of our Nirvana world, where it's like, okay, we'll go in there and they'll throw us out, and we'll have to figure out an alternate way in. Okay,
We had already shot a lot of it.
yeah, and that'll be interesting. But instead, what happened is this security guy, fixated on these pliers, and Matt gave him some, benign sort of reason.
I'm not acting. I'm not acting in that moment. It's like you're watching me freeze. And I wasn't trying to be funny, where he says, "What are they for?" And I was like, what could I reasonably say to this guy? He was supposed to notice the parachutes. He was supposed to throw us out before I even went to the fucking detective. And now he's asking about the wire cutters. And so all I could think of was, well, what does he know about?
And we can
He
hear-
knows I have huge holes in my pants.
We can hear on his walkie-talkie, it's like, just seeing if these pliers are NUF, and then we hear, go for it. And he just goes, all right, go on
He
through.
apologized to us.
Sorry about this, guys. We
He
gotta-
said
we have to
sorry.
do this.
We had to
Yes,
ask.
sorry.
It's like, well, hey, look, don't beat yourself up
So
about it.
what you're looking at in that scene is just us, like dumbfounded, walking through,
Realizing we have
Talk about
a
being,
really
like,
crazy scene that we
in
now have to shoot.
character. So, no more questions about that.
Yeah, whoever asked that question, you're in big trouble.
Let's get started.
Yes, you're right there.
Okay, first up, my mom's from Etobicoke.
Hell yeah.
She says hi.
What, you know where in Etobicoke? That's where I lived when I was a little kid.
Oh, really?
Do you remember the name of the street? Prince Edward Drive?
We could have been neighbors. She doesn't live there anymore. She lives in Florida, so bad downgrade. But,
Okay.
yeah. All right, my question. So, this is Nirvana, the band, show, the movie. But where do you go from here? Is it going to be Nirvana, the band, show, the movie, the opera?
You know what? You're close. You're close. You're very close.
You know the branch that you're going down, and you're very close.
Yeah, you're very
That's
close.
really nice. I like that question.
Well, you know what? We may as well spoil it. We're doing. Oh no, that was going to be an. Oh,
Let's spoil it. With
yeah, I won't spoil it. Anyway, yes. Yeah. Next question. Take your pick of We Will Never Work Again, or we have some crazy idea. Yes?
You guys both talk a lot about the sort of blurring the lines between fiction and nonfiction. Right? You're talking about business, maybe you're talking about the reality portion. What's so alluring about sort of towing that line between the two? That think all the way in one or the other.
The budget is what is so alluring about shooting in the real world, and also the workload in terms of a writer of not having to write a script. It is, when I had first got out of film school, I was so, I guess, afraid of putting ideas down on paper, and so it was a lot more exciting and freeing to go out with no plan, and it's impossible to shoot professionally on studios, etc., when you are just a film student, and so we got there naturally through form. The function followed the form.
Can I say, like, in that time when we were developing the show from the very beginning, we had a reference for improv. I was a big Second City guy. I worked at Second City for years, and we realized that, not having something that you're actually striving towards in terms of like a vision, and actually just letting it kind of be what reality is, was actually sort of in a really fun voyeuristic way, like shining back on ourselves, something that was like something that to us was very funny. And it wasn't jokes, it was sometimes just the reality of it, and just the fact that it was undeniably real, and just the humanity of it. That was what was driving us. That was our North Star of comedy, more than like jokes.
Yeah, way at the back.
Yeah, I was wondering, I do comedy and I like hearing other comedy people like talk about their influences. What would you say are like your Mount Rushmore of like comedy influence for Nirvana, the band, the show, and the movie, and just you guys creating stuff in general?
Is this a typical Atlanta accent? It is? I love this accent. Okay.
There's so many. Oh my God.
Are you talking about for this show specifically, or for us as individuals? I think you get very different answers.
Individual, sure.
Okay. So, man, I've never had to commit this to it. You know who, somebody who I would say had a huge impact on not only me, but on things that I thought we should put in the show, even though I was already in film school when I saw this, was the Australian Chris Lilly, who made that show Summer Heights High. You can say what you will about his work before or after, which I didn't follow as closely, but when I saw that for the first time, I was like, oh, he was mixing sincerity with the kind of mawkish. He never let you know what the joke was. And although other people had done it before, I had never seen it done in that type of environment before, and I found that extremely addictive when I was young.
I can say that we took a lot from this little web series, Clark and Michael, Clark Duke and Michael Cera, they did something that just structurally was something that we just decided, because we were about, when we came up, we already had Nirvana the band, and we were about to launch into doing like a movie or a short film. Well, we were so young when it started, and we had zero expectations. This was just one idea of perhaps many that Matt and I were gonna maybe just jump into like materializing. And when we came across Clark and Michael, I remember seeing that and being like, why don't we just do something like this? Because starting that revolving door really helped us find our footing as we were making the show. And the show after that just started to become its own sort of indicator of like of how we were chasing our own tail. Like as we made the web series over the course of like years, because we were just slow and young and nobody was breathing down our necks for the next episode, and there was so much just figuring out based on where we last left off. But Clark and Michael was a big reason why we were able to get on that train of being able to sort of like do an episode and be like, okay, that was one, what are we gonna do the second episode? Oh, well, if that's the case, then we'll do this and then we'll do that. And I remember watching Matt too, by the end of the web series, like find a real voice. Like we'd never done anything like this. I know Matt's work before, so I'd only done just like musical accompaniment to his short films before in film school. But in the web series, I remember just living with him and watching him find his voice as a filmmaker and a writer. And he took the reins of Nirvana the band in the last half of it in a way where I was just like in awe of like the sort of intention of the writing, that I was so like happy to just sort of be like, oh great, we get to do this now? This is much more sophisticated than I thought we were doing, and then it was really fun.
The Scottish comedian Limmy, I also love. I've contacted him so many times saying, hey, you and I should do something together. Like, I think, and every single time I get shut down. Every time it's like, I'm not interested. Which is fair enough. I mean, he's one of these like people who is an unassailable genius. And by the way, in the same way that I feel like Chris Lilly is one of these unassailable geniuses, that I understand they're both very difficult people, and so be it. But when I see people like that, that's when I get really excited, because I understand the spirit of your question. I think you're actually asking me about stand-up comedians in some way. And I will say, I'm not sure if Jay feels the same way, but I always struggled with stand-up comedy, and it was for reasons that I think when you look at it inverted will help explain a movie like this, which is that I, at a young age, thought that stand-up comedians were making this up as you watch them. And so I thought they were, I was like blown away when I was a young person watching videos of stand-up comedians. And then a movie that I mean, already I was getting a bit old to understand this is how it worked, but I saw Spike Lee's Kings of Comedy. Have you guys seen this film? It's actually great. It's actually awesome. Steve Harvey and Bernie Mac, a huge influence on me, obviously. And I saw that and I was like, wait a minute. Like, there's a difference between the comedians who are willing to go to improvised places and the ones who just repeat the same bit every single night, which I'm actually quite allergic to. There's something about it that I don't like, I don't find funny.
Well, we've never, in making the show, whenever we're shooting scenes, we're very hard on each other about repeating material.
Yes.
We can't like do a take over and over again and actually repeat anything. Every take that you see is like very unique.
And normally when you see something that's like funny in performance or how a line is delivered or something unexpected happens, if you watch, the show's the exact same, watch those moments, you'll notice the camera cuts like frames
Yes.
afterwards
Somebody's
because everybody
breaking.
starts laughing.
Yeah.
Because literally nobody knows, whether it's the speaker or us in the room, what is about to happen ever. It's like we're being animated by somebody who is not in the room, and we're being controlled like puppets. And the words coming out of our mouth, I mean, I speak for myself. Maybe Jay's in complete control. I have no idea what is gonna come out of my mouth.
But you're way more of a, like, you know, if we say action, it's like pulling a long string, and you can go off a lot more than I can.
Yes,
go
but you know what? That metaphor implies that what is going to be said is in some way prepared. Like those string dolls always say
It
the
just
same
seems
thing.
like that. I know that you don't know where the end of your sentence is when you
Ever.
begin it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so because of that, I wonder if that comes from a kind of allergy to stand-up comedy, which is ironic because I'll say one of the I'm speaking Latin. One of the Vade Miko pieces of art that for both Jay and I is actually the documentary Comedian, which if you've ever seen, you'll notice we stole the entire ending of it from. Literally, the ending of our movie is exactly the ending of the documentary Comedian, made in 1999. So, I mean, if you're interested, you can go see. We stole it. But I'll move off this topic. I'm sorry for harassing you. Yes, in the middle?
Me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
During the release of Black Arrow, you spoke in interviews about the sort of like cultural insecurity that Canada has with their own house-made films. How has that changed since then, and how do you want/expect it to change in the coming years?
I don't know that will culturally ever change. I actually think that that's endemic to the Canadian system, is that we have a kind of insecurity over our own identity. This movie is, although it seems in some ways secure of itself, think about what it's doing. It is basically two Canadians who have a kind of they deify American culture to the point where their obsession with American media from the 80s and 90s has become the form of the movie that they themselves are living in. Like I actually think it's a privilege to be in a country that is not defining the culture and can instead observe it. And it's something that, for me, all my movies are about that. They're about watching things and reacting to it and seeing what they mean to me. In the same way that any viewer, like in the way that this movie may mean something to you. Think about that except as two countries, and the countries are a big and a younger brother. So I don't know that there's any amount of work that Canada could do to get out from under that, and I don't know that it would necessarily help us. But there's other countries. Australia, right, has an unbelievably robust film industry. Like people in this room, whether you know it or not, are hugely influenced by Australian films. I don't know that we can say that other than David Cronenberg about any Canadian filmmakers, which is too bad. There's one way at the back. How about that person right in that corner? Yeah, sure. You don't need to brag about this. Oh, sure. Yeah, the guy way at the back. All right.
Season 3, is it just sitting on a hard drive somewhere, like waiting to be uploaded, or?
Yes, it's absolutely perfect. It's been finished since 2019, and it's now just beginning to cool because it was so hot when we first finished it. We get asked this all the time.
You know what? That's not entirely untrue.
Of course not.
There are a few very watchable, close to finished episodes that have existed for years that obviously we've been dying to be able to share, and they're great. They're really fun. We like them because we're our biggest fans.
Do you want us to tell you some of the episodes?
No, don't.
You don't think we should? You don't think we should tell some of them? They're pretty thrilling. Why don't we tell the one that's associated with this movie?
Yeah.
There is an episode in season 3 where the first scene in the episode is the last scene of this movie. Where it begins with me running down the stairs saying I have this plan to jump into the CN Tower, and Jay says, we better go a little early. And then you see what happens when we go a little early. We go early. And we've already shot it. Yes, you right there.
So I know your love of video games.
Oh, good luck.
No. Magic and I know your love of video games. So I know your love of video games inspires a lot of the magic behind the show. I love your King of Fighters reference in the series. If you happen to oversee a B-tier movie tie-in game a la Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, the game, What would you want the main gameplay loop to look like?
This is a sophisticated question. And are you saying specifically the Nirvana the band game? What would we want it to be, and what studio would we want to make it? The answer is Supergiant. And with these characters, I've always thought, I refer to this in the show, I think a LucasArts era point and click, like single page game would be mind blowing, and I think that you'd be able to hide the kind of eccentric, idiosyncratic things that the show does, because I find that often when I would watch the show back when we made it, it's the kind of thing you do watch forwards and backwards, and you'll play something and then play it again and be like, wait, and it slowly grows in the same way that those really, really great Sam and Max, Full Throttle, like those games, they were replayable because you would slowly discover it, but I don't know that would sell very well, and so I'll tell you a movie to game adaptation that I thought was really, really smart, and Jay and I don't remember if we played it together, but at the very least we talked about it way back in the day, was the Scott Pilgrim's fighting adaptation that they made, which was ahead of its time because the characters were leveling up, and now that's de rigueur, like roguelikes are doing that, the new TMNT side-scroller, you're gaining experience, all this wicked shit. I loved what just got released, that awesome, it's like a Golden Axe clone, except, say again?
Absalom?
Yeah, Absalom. Yeah, okay, right. So Absalom is another perfect example of a game that I wish Jay and I could do, because Toronto works so well as a side-scrolling environment, constantly, and again, the roguelike nature of it, of you getting to the Rivoli, but dying and going back to the beginning and going and dying, like, it does seem to fit in that way. So yes, if there's any designers out here, that's the pitch. Contact Neon, they have the rights, I'm sure they will do it with you. Yes, right there.
Is the future of Nirvana the band, the show, more live stuff? Because I love being able to come here and see you guys.
The question, I can just repeat these questions.
I
so
think
you don't
everyone
need to
can hear
hand-
them.
Maybe, you know what, you never know. The question is, are we gonna do more live Nirvana the band stuff? And I'll tell you,
You know, we do have a really great idea for a play.
yeah, that we would love to do, but again, like, that's not the kind of thing that you can move around North America with, and because, here's a secret, like Jay and I do not have any capacity to do a performance live. None.
Speak for yourself.
Well, sure. Jay could sit up here and play the piano.
Me, the thespian that I am, I could hold the stage, give me a script, and I will perform.
Do you think that would go over well?
I will roll the dice.
So I don't know that there is a future for a kind of live Nirvana the band, anything outside of a very specific like play that would work the way that an episode
You gotta remember
does.
that like the way we shoot is that we know from the very beginning, like ever since we like developed the voice for how this gets made and how the product gets put up on screen is a trial and error thing. And we have put trial and error to the test more than what a traditional filmmaker does. Even us wearing the same costumes, us not having any lighting, not wearing any makeup, not going around with a big crew, that means that we can go back and we can reshoot things, we can then watch things, we can edit it together, we can get a finished product, and then decide, you know what, it would be funnier or it would be more resonant if this changed and we redid this. So like, you know, we aren't out the gates, the sort of performers that you see on screen. We've gotten a lot better at it, but I remember like in the web series days, as we got better at it, it being a magic trick in front of my own eyes in terms of like what an edit can do magically by taking the line from this take of our scene and then the response from this other take and then this facial reaction from a time when I wasn't even acting, and this was just me listening to Jared telling me something off screen. But I'm so real and my sort of like, And then we find that in the edit, and it just becomes this magic trick of creating a new reality. there's always, in all of our work, a new reality that gets born beyond what the reality is of when it was performed, no matter how well it was improvised. So obviously, a live adaptation is going to have a challenge to capture that same type of magic, but we'd still love to do it. Like, we have some treatments and some like really fully fledged ideas about like a live play thing that's like traditionally a play and a take on a play, you know, like a real theater experience. And if we did ever get the you know, the means to make it, time, money, whatever, like it would really be something. But it's a bit up in the air.
Another way of saying that actually is the risk factor that we take when we're performing, we lose. Because I'll say for me specifically, when we're shooting, I go to places that are completely, like, you go to jail for behaving this way. Knowing that I'm in charge of everything, and so it's like nothing I do is ever gonna be seen by anybody. And on stage, live, you just don't have that ability, right? And it's funny, in relation to this question of stand-up comedy, I don't know for myself how much I would enjoy doing the same thing every night. I think that, is this feedbacking? Yeah. Whoa.
Nice, you found it.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, I wonder how pleasant that would be, but who knows? Life is long.
We got a question over here with a microphone.
Hi. My partner and I were talking beforehand. We're obviously huge
Oh,
fans
it's
of the
that mic that's making all this feedback go crazy. I understand.
You don't really need this mic to be that loud. We can repeat.
No, it's her mic.
I know.
Oh, yeah,
You don't
okay.
need that mic to be that loud.
I didn't bring this. She handed it to me.
This poor woman. She's getting killed. Somebody back there told her, you need to get these people microphones. But sorry, what's the question?
We're obviously huge fans of the show. I'm sure everybody here is as well. We were wondering, like, how much of this for general audiences, like, is this going to be a standalone film? I think y'all did an incredible job. I think anyone can enjoy this. But I think I loved noticing the little Easter eggs for those of us who did watch the show and the web series. My personal favorite was that I did catch was when you played the audio from Update Day in the closet. That the time in the corner was 11:15 p.m., which is what you say in the video. So I'm wondering, what were each of y'all's favorite Easter eggs that you were able to include, or maybe ones that you wanted to include that didn't make the cut?
That one certainly is a big top favorite, and what I love most about that is that it has now made that viral video. We've added to that viral video that exists this canon where when you watch it now, you know that the old Matt and Jay are in the closet.
Everybody knows that old Matt and Jay are in the closet. There's a really great Easter egg for people who have been watching since the Dirties, which is that in the Dirties, I am doing Foley with Owen, and I make the sound of a crow because I'm like, this is, I don't remember what I said, I was a stupid little kid. And I took that crow sound, and I've always used it in every single one of my films. And in this movie, the place that I put the crow sound is when Jay and I are walking up to the CN Tower and we see the Spider-Man person, so that when you watch the movie all the way through and the time loops, you hear the crow sound again, letting you know it's the exact same time in the exact same moment. But that's such a deep cut that I don't expect anybody ever to notice that. Yes. Over there? Yeah. I don't think so. I think you can just stand up and shout it. Yeah.
Go ahead, go shout it.
Yeah, so you guys talk about wanting to be underdogs, the losers of the film industry.
No, it's effort, not me. I want to be the loser of the
Losers of the film industry, so like...
You clarify that by just saying it louder. I'm teasing, I know what you mean. I understand the spirit of the question.
How do you guys plan on creating more films like this, or creating like season 3 sustainably while being
The production model of Nirvana the band depends on everything being small. The budget of this movie, all said and done, I mean, we shot the movie twice. Maybe we can tell that story, but the money that it cost in US dollars to make the movie you just saw was like $1.5 or $2 million. And if we had more than that, I don't think we'd be able to make it as well. And in terms of, if you're referring to like the profile of Jay and I in the streets of Toronto, that people already know us there anyway. And because the show is so niche, it wouldn't matter how popular it got. Like the people that were in the movie would never have known who we were. It's too repellent of a property. People are like, that sounds stupid. I don't want to watch that. Like, I'm sure many of you have had the experience of sitting your best friend down and being like, you don't understand. This is me. And if you don't like it, you don't like me. And they proceed to turn it off after 8 minutes and be like, that was the dumbest shit ever. Why did you show me this? And we're well aware of that. That's a part of the charm to us, that the keyhole to get into the building is like this big. But once you're inside,
We're inside right
once
now.
you're inside, it's
We're
great.
with our people.
Yeah, everything that happens is funny. They're walking down the street, it's funny. I pull down a whiteboard in an RV, and it's funny. It doesn't matter what they do, because you paid such a high cost to get in. So anyway, I don't think that's going to change. Behind you in the glasses. There, look at that.
Can you just talk a little bit about the 2008 stuff? Do you guys still have that same apartment? How did you cut all of that together? Also, did you just go through old footage of 2008 for the street stuff, or did you kind of?
So we had hours, hundreds of hours of when we were shooting our web series, which was tons of stuff that we didn't use because when we were making the web series, we were not targeted at all with what we were shooting. We were doing so much improv, and so much was just on these little mini DV tapes. And so our editors went through every single hour of that to pull little puzzle pieces that they knew they would be able to maybe create a narrative for the 2008 sequence, which they did, and then presented us that story. So Kurt Laub and Bob Yuckchurch are such huge parts of the writing of this movie. And a huge part of that is because their work here, and they went through the painstaking process of just like going through all of that stuff and putting together those little things that you see, like all of that. Anytime you see old Matt and Jay, or young Matt and Jay, that was because they put that together and they wrote basically the basic outline of what us old Matt and Jay would be doing against that footage. And the funny story is about getting into our old apartment is that old apartment still exists, obviously, right at Queen and Spadina in Toronto. And we lived there when we made the web series for 4 years. And we went and we visited there, and there was a tenant there, this girl and her dog that didn't like us much. And we approached her about this and tried to plead. Our producer Grayson was approaching her and saying, "Look, this is legit. We're going to shoot this thing. These guys make this Nirvana the band, the show, and they made Blackberry." And she famously said, "I don't give a fuck about Nirvana the band. I don't give a fuck about Blackberry. Get the fuck out of my face with this shit." Like, she was very against it. We started offering her a lot of money to sort of displace her just for a little bit. We just shoot in the apartment for just a little bit. And we offered her so much money that Grace and our producer told us, we're about to offer her the last amount of money here before it's the same price as rebuilding the apartment from scratch in a sound studio, which is what we did. And so we were able to kind of make our art team built our old apartment and filled it with all the exact same things that were in there, down to little pieces of garbage and cups and Wii remotes and cardboard boxes. It was a psychedelic experience walking into your old apartment from 20 years ago. And so that's how that happened. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, sure. Time for one more, right here. Yes.
First off, let me say
Wednesday account.
Oh, wow. Hey, look, this is a celebrity. What's your name? And yeah, you've got it all. You're fully branded.
You're talking about the one that has a lot of followers that posts every Wednesday?
Yeah.
That's your account?
You're,
I quit, but I was the original.
you're a celeb.
Oh, thank you.
You made me a shirt too.
Well, you're also a
Stand up,
celeb.
stand up.
You're a celebrity.
Thank you for that.
I wasn't raising my hand just to brag. My question is, because you brought up Scott Pilgrim earlier.
Yes.
Scott Pilgrim, the comic, and Afghan Fist, the web series or the TV show, both have scenes taking place in Canada's Lost Wonderland.
Honest Eds. Yeah, and so do we.
Yeah. Did you think, when you were thinking 2008 Toronto, did you plan to do a scene in Honest Eds?
So here's this Honest Eds is basically a Toronto landmark started by one of the original, you know what, I won't give you the history of Ed Mervish, but he's an important guy in the city of Toronto. He actually founded a lot of the theaters where people will go and do plays. You guys can sit down. Yes, if we're, and Honest Ed's famously, in a kind of battle both with the citizens of Toronto and with City Hall, sold their entire block, because it was a city block right at Bloor and Bathurst, to a developer that has just recently completed construction on a gigantic 80-floor condominium. But when we made the show for Vice, we were like, oh, we have to set an episode in Honest Eds. And that episode eventually became The Bean, where we're buying Christmas things and things like that. But to answer this question specifically, we would have loved to have gone back into Honest Eds in this movie. The problem was there was no footage that narratively connected to this orbit story or to the general mission that we would have been on. And we knew that, I'll tell you, that our 2008 sequence that Bobby and Kurt had made was 4 times as long. We did crazy shit in 2008 that we shot. Well, I'll tell you very briefly this amazing bit that we did where the plan was that we remembered, oh, we bought the orbits in Chinatown. We should go to Chinatown and buy the orbits. And here's how we shot this, okay? And we didn't get to use it. So if you are ever thinking of making a time travel movie with your buddies, steal this. It works like a charm. Here's what you do, okay? We went into this Chinatown market looking just so stupid, being really big and loud, no cameras on us. And we were like, we're looking for orbits. Where can we find orbits? And people were like, we don't sell those. And then our art director had made a gigantic cardboard box with simplified Chinese on it that said orbits. And we picked it up and we were like, oh my gosh, this is what we're looking for. Amazing, great. And so we walk up, pay for it, and the people are like, what is this? And we're like, we bought the orbits, everybody. Thank you. We introduced ourselves.
They sold it to us.
They sold it to us. Okay? 5 minutes later, Jay and I run back. We're being filmed secretly, and we're like, okay, all right, where were they? What is it? Where, Jay?
I don't understand. I remember they were right here.
Okay, excuse me. Did you sell, this is gonna sound crazy, but like a drink, it's called Orbits. The guy looks at me, you were just here. I turned to Jay, oh no. What do you mean we were just here?
He's like freaked out about the butterfly effect of seeing ourselves.
It was you? You were wearing that hat, you bought the Orbits and left. Oh fuck. Look, that wasn't me. What are you talking about?
Man, I think it was you.
Right.
Just the old you.
Yeah, right.
Well,
So
the young
it
you.
was me. That was me. And we're just gonna go. And then people are all looking at us, and it's like the best acting you've ever seen in a Chinatown story in your life. Every single one of these people should have won an Oscar, and we didn't use it.
For a variety of reasons. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, of course. The same
sometimes,
reason everything gets cut. It's just.
and sometimes in that, we were in that moment and we're looking at somebody giving us an Oscar-winning performance. Maybe just by chance, the camera didn't get it. And that's the tragic part, because those Oscar-winning, reality moments happen once. You could never ask them to do it again.
We
So-
did go into a couple of Chinatown stores. We tried. Okay, the party is over, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. This is easily one of the best meetings we've done.
Yes.
We're so grateful to you, and I will probably see you later.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Goodbye.